fucking Fox News called Stuttering John?
Yeah.
Bye-bye, Democrat Party. he would lose Richard Ojeda's phone number toot sweet.
I'm going to be a Trump cabinet member.
Donnie, you remember me from the Stern Show?
I'll be your secretary of laughs.
Oh, there you go. Wait a minute. Trump just had him as a jester. I like this guy. He's funny. Makes me laugh.
Go ask the Supreme Court justices some questions. All right, I'm on.
Do you like Donald Trump's butt cheese? No, Senator Melendez.
I love that.
Did you ever fart in the First Lady's face?
He's just got an untucked dress shirt and a loose tie walking through the Capitol.
I hope they make him Secretary of Education.
AOC, let me tell you about how I jerked off to you last night.
Excuse me, Senator, what did you do with the money? The money the taxpayers gave you. I can't help it, he makes me laugh.
I need this so bad. John Melendez, funny guy, John Melendez.
Not too funny, but he is funny.
I like to throw my McDonald's wrappers at him and say, eat it up.
So, we've learned he was offered last comic standing. And Stuttering John's chat is awfully astute. Because I thought to myself, that claim doesn't pass muster. I don't know if that's true. And it seemed like David.
Now I got him right in the sun.
Are you guys ready to let your hair down and have a little fun, for Christ's sake?
Oh, I sure am.
Enough of the serious business. We got some fun to get to, and I didn't put it in the title or anything because I want it to be a fun surprise that we're talking a little Stuttering John today. Because I was on Point to Point, and I had to do, my background research. But I don't know if you know this, Craig. Did you watch that at all when I was on there?
Did not.
So, Keanu Thompson, who was married to Gino Bisconti. You remember when we spoke about John so eloquently discussing his masturbation to Keanu?
Correct.
Well, now he's in a war with her saying she was never attractive.
Oh, good.
And she's a cunt because she said, sometimes I have to talk to John like he's a kindergartner, which I think is actually a pretty fair assessment of someone who said, Keanu, when you wear those tight leather pants, I cranked my pecker to you. I think it's fair to equate them to a child,
Right.
But John didn't see it that way. I was going to talk about it on Point, so I was just listening for that. But a couple of different things caught my attention as I was doing my research. And one of them is that John had an opportunity, a career opportunity, that he's never mentioned, which seems rare for him.
Now, you can tell he really means it, and it actually happened, by the way. He looks at this, up to the sky and goes, and tries to think of what to say next.
It feels very genuine. David, you're good at reading people. I want you to tell us how genuine you think this offer was when he tells us what his career opportunity that evidently he turned down was.
Okay.
You want that clip first there?
Yeah, please.
Oh, he looks nice.
You, into the father, you a judge of last comic standing.
Oh, no, hold on. Whoa. The one before this. We gave it away, but...
It was the job, so that's why I thought you meant that one. Judge John here.
That's correct, yes. I wonder what this is going to be about.
My fault.
Trust me, it doesn't matter. You're a loser. You've never done
Talking about
anything.
Keanu.
Keanu sent him $5 and he's treating her like this.
No. Not only sent him $5, apologized.
Yeah, cool.
Said, John, you're right. I probably shouldn't have talked about you in that way. Now, I would say it was simply... But she said the same thing about her husband. She goes, "I'm good at quelling douchebaggery," and then referenced her husband, Gino Bisconti.
Ultimately,
So I don't think it's that much of a shot, but John took it as much like he did with us with Why You Laughing. Remember when he said Why You Laughing was a great show,
yes,
and then the next day
yes,
said it was terrible because he heard out of context us say something about Artie Lang,
right.
where I said he wasn't as big a figure on the show as Artie Lang, which is just, I mean,
Factual.
I don't think there's more of a fact.
Oh, you don't think he'd heard Hackride calling you the next Howard Stern, and that swayed his opinion?
That could be possible.
He said, I don't like this next Howard Stern I'm hearing about.
Actually, he might latch on if he hears that.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That might have been overselling me a little bit, so that's fair. But I don't know if there's more. Like, if you said the date and time today, I think that's less of a fact than Artie Lang being a bigger figure on the Howard Stern show than Stuttering John. It's just true. So I don't know why he took such offense to that, but it's because he hears what he wants to hear. He hears insults, even when they're not there necessarily. He's getting insults all the time, so he's just used to it. But this is, Keanu apologizing him and paying him for the privilege.
Tiny Chud in the chat says there's no quote Stuttering John era, but there is a Jackie era and an Artie era. That's all you need to know.
Oh, you don't think of the 90s as the Stuttering John era of Howard Stern?
Sure do not. No.
That's how everyone thinks of it, I think.
Trust me, it doesn't matter. You're a loser. You've never done anything. You stand up is horrible.
It's weird. It's so weird. He wasn't saying that when he was jerking off to her.
It's like you're so funny. Oh.
That's odd to me.
Let her
When he
lay
was-
down.
When he was I like that, David.
Now I got him right in the side, right there.
When he was trying to fuck Keanu, let's make no mistake about it, that's exactly what he was trying to do. He was trying to fuck a married woman, while also having the husband on the show at various points. But he wanted to fuck Keanu, so it's weird, he never mentioned his opinion of her stand-up. That's very odd.
Just her appearance. It was just a long ploy to just hopefully one day have one over on Gino.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't want to tell you, but I'm telling you now.
Witness this loser. Unbelievable.
You know I was going to be a judge on Last Comic Standing.
He's mine.
What?
Yeah, I had the offer in front of me. And believe me, after that shit show, you would not even make it. You would be gone, and they wouldn't even show video of you.
I like that
25
he's
years
already
later,
mapped
you have
out his
Austin
strategy as a
in front of
judge.
you all of a sudden.
Believe you me, my
That's
judging
hilarious,
technique
yeah.
wouldn't have allowed you.
Be judging from the editing bay.
I would love so much for John's career to be different. Have him be on Last Comic Standing just so we could watch him be better than and suck at stand-up still.
But John is the caliber that would be a contestant on Last Comic I'm not joking. Like, I'm sure he'll take great offense to
No,
that
it
or
wouldn't even
something.
happen.
But, like, Rich Voss, Ralphie May, Gary Gulman, Todd Glass, Kathleen Madigan, when these people were on Last Comic Standing, they were, I mean, significantly more seasoned comedians than John was.
You're forgetting a big name from that show.
No, I'm not.
Friend of the program.
No, I'm not.
Amy Schumer?
No, but like the names that auditioned for that show, a lot of them, like Dat Fan, sure,
There it is.
was a nobody trying comedy. But a lot of people that made it on that show were like established, and wasn't Mike DiStefano on there? Like a lot of established people made it onto that show. And
Look at this
John
stuttering moron.
certainly
He's
doesn't have the stand-up
complaining
resume. He's
about
always
other
talking about
people's
credits
looks.
and resumes. He
Drunk
certainly doesn't
fool.
have the resume. Playing a
Alfie.
tape of you on Howard
Drunk
Stern
fool.
and then saying, "Ladies and gentlemen, Nick DiPaolo," does not make you a stand-up comedian.
That'd be so great, though, if he was up there and he'd be like, Rich Voss, this is why you're terrible.
Joe List, you're never going to be anything. But like, look, the judges on that show, I mean, Greg Giraldo, Norm Macdonald, like Roseanne, fucking Keenan Ivory Waynes, like these were big names.
Yeah.
Stuttering John was not going to be a judge on that. Let's hear him finish up his berating of Keanu here, but
And they wouldn't even show video of you. You're not that hot. You're not that smart, and you're certainly an idiot.
took him a second to come up with that word.
Well said.
So Keanu's picture's on the screen. Attractive woman. John,
Of course. That's why we didn't even. I don't think we covered. We talked about John talking about jerking off to her. I don't think we talked about him saying it to her, did we?
Yes, we did. I thought.
Maybe I can't remember if we did or not. But so I apologize if I'm repeating something here. But there was a point where he's saying to Keanu, he's describing the act as if it happened. By the way,
Oh, I don't think we covered it. We talked about him doing it.
he said, "So you get on top of me and you're riding me," and Keanu's like, "Okay."
What a creep.
Right.
And Keanu was a good sport about it. She was like, "Oh, thanks, John. I take it as a compliment." Like, he was
Totally.
about as good a sport as you could
He's
be.
a psycho.
Truly a different generation, huh?
I suppose so. Yeah. It really is where John thinks he's Howard Stern. But like I said on Point Devil Point the other day, there was a charm to what Howard was doing. As much as the people that hated Howard were like, "Oh, he's a grotesque pig." The reason he got away with that is because he was charming in a way, and he was also self-deprecating, and you knew that he was not an aggressive guy in real life, Whereas John feels dangerous to me. Like, John feels like someone, if you were in a room with, would be a problem.
Oh
And
yeah.
I think that's the gross part about him saying stuff like this.
Have you ever seen any of those shows where they're like solve murder? Like I think this one's called See No Evil. They solve murders by using like closed caption television that's everywhere, like
Okay.
the security cameras. I can absolutely see him being one of the guys they catch. No,
What do you mean?
This is the guy. I was never there. Like,
You better watch out. You're about to be sued, my friend.
I could see it. I'm saying I didn't say he did. I said I could see it.
I'll rephrase. You're about to be in a year's worth of threats of a lawsuit.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sound him out.
I mean, if this Keanu woman ever goes missing, everyone knows where to look. Allegedly.
You should suspect John, certainly, if Keanu goes missing. Yeah, that doesn't mean he did it.
I didn't say he did.
No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying maybe start at his house.
Right.
There will be a trail.
Check the trunk for the pool of blood. It's all I'm saying.
Greasy fingerprints and spills of Coors Light along the way.
You could say there's Miller Lite cans crushed everywhere. Whatever he's drinking, Mick Ultra.
All right, so now
Boy,
we
would I-
know.
What
Oh,
I'd
go
pay
ahead.
to see this guy next to Roseanne Barr on a judging table.
Roseanne, I don't agree with your points about President Donald Trump. However, you're making some good points here.
If you get me on this show, I'll change who I vote for.
Oh, John would sell out that if fucking Fox News called Stuttering John.
Yeah.
Bye-bye, Democrat Party. he would lose Richard Ojeda's phone number toot sweet.
I'm going to be a Trump cabinet member.
Donnie, you remember me from the Stern Show?
I'll be your secretary of laughs.
Oh, they go way back.
That would,
All right.
Trump just had him as a jester.
I like this guy. He's funny.
Yeah.
Makes me laugh.
Go ask the Supreme Court justices some questions. All right, I'm on it.
Do you like Donald Trump's butt cheese? No, Senator Melendez.
I love that.
Did you have a fart in the First Lady's face?
He's just got an untucked dress shirt and a loose tie walking through the Capitol.
I hope they make him Secretary of Education.
AOC, let me tell you about how I jerked off to you last night.
Excuse me, Senator, what did you do with the money? The money the taxpayers gave you. I can't help it, he makes me laugh.
I need this so bad. John Melendez, funny guy, John Melendez.
Not too funny, but he is funny.
I like to throw my McDonald's wrappers at him and say, eat it up.
So, we've learned he was offered last comic standing. And Stuttering John's chat is awfully astute.
Not
Because
true.
I thought to myself, that claim doesn't pass muster. I don't know if that's true. And it seems at least one good Samaritan in the chat held his feet to the fire on this. So, John, I don't know if that's right.
You, thanks to the father, you a judge of last comic standing. Ha ha ha, your lies and losers away make you funny. By the way, where'd your neck go? It's right over here. See, it's right.
Oh, no. Do have to address that. It's right over here.
Johnny Fatneck, that's what we call him.
By the way, this is an hour later in his show. Listen how much drunker he sounds.
Oh, yeah.
After, I don't know, 3 Michelob Ultras.
That we saw.
No, but I'm just saying, it's like, it doesn't take a lot to fucking get this guy inebriated.
He's been drinking all day.
Carl's
20
Frosted
beers a
tips,
day.
$2. John works hard to have no friends. Their day, too.
That's the interesting thing, is a guy that wants friendship so badly, you would think would kind of cling to, like, oh, listen, hey, Keanu, you almost think he'd be like you gotta credit him for not being a pussy, I guess. Because you would think he'd be like, hey, like, Keanu kind of made fun of me, but I need at least one friend in this world.
Hey, Mr. Trump, there was a second plane.
Oh, the kids hurt me. Whoops.
Your dad was on that flight, kid.
Hey, listen, it's not my fault the kids heard about the tragedy. You asked me to say anything if it happens.
This would be like a television show or something now.
You get Matt and Trey to bring back That's My Bush.
Yeah.
Stuttering John and Donald Trump.
No, Mr. President, I'll throw out the first pitch. I got this.
I was a baseball player in high school.
Oh no, they actually were going when I was at NBC as
When you look up like that, he's making up a lot.
Sorry, someone just said, Mr. President, there's been a terrible tragedy. Also, have you seen the movie Swordfish?
To try and describe it to you. What happened is very similar to Swordfish.
It was Hackright. I didn't even read who said it. Very funny act.
So just so you have the proper mindset for this clip, John just said, we heard him say, I had the offer in front of me to be a judge for Last Comic Standing.
Yep.
Now, with that said, listen to this story.
the announcer, they needed one of the judges, and I was about to go fly out there, and then the person who had canceled, they got back. I don't know if it was Amy Schumer, it was somebody.
Hold on, just to be clear, Amy Schumer was a contestant on the show.
Right.
I don't think she canceled.
Mr.
So I
President,
can't make it this week.
my attention to detail will be great for the White House.
Yeah, you remember in American Idol when Kelly Clarkson was like, guys, you're going to have to find a substitute for me. I'm not making it this week.
Buddy, and then they brought whoever, and they said, no, she didn't cancel, so they didn't need me last minute.
Mine.
Boy, does whatever that gibberish was sound a lot different than being offered a judge spot on Last Comic Standing. John made it seem like it was going to be him and Norm Macdonald up there, riffing with Anthony Jeselnik.
I'm just thinking of Trump giving the State of the Union and Stuttering John yelling Baba Booey like 6 rows back. Like, I need this to happen.
That's my friend John. He's a bit of a wise guy.
I keep him around. It makes me laugh. I like to put a blonde wig on him, and I call him Hillary Clinton.
Former Former President Biden, is your refrigerator running? I do prank calls for the White House now.
That red emergency phone, Stuttering John's desk is right next to it. Yeah, can I help you?
They told me I'm not supposed to press this, but
I like the way it feels on my finger. I keep pushing it.
me and Mitch McConnell were tossing the nuclear football around today.
Mitch McConnell got his hand on my coke and he can't move when he does that.
All right. Now, David Collins, you're a fan of stand-up comedy, yes?
A lot of people know this about me now. I actually am a big fan of comedy.
Okay. I think you're gonna know this guy's name, but it might take you a while to get there. Craig, same thing. I think you're gonna know who this is that John is referring to. But as we go, I would like we're gonna stop it at times, and I'm gonna get your guesses on to who John could be talking about here. John has a new feud with a guy that has not been thought of in the Dabble-verse, really. This is not a name that's come up a lot, but John is now in a spat with him.
Crystalia.
No, not Crystalia.
A Brendan shop.
No, I would actually go down the comedy totem pole.
Jordan
believe it or
Jensen.
not.
That
No,
would be a fair feud.
It'd be fair. That's Joe Matarese's rival these days. But
Joe Battery is such a loser.
before you guys waste any more guesses,
Okay.
let's play you some evidence here.
And Army Major, I had a question for you just right before you go. Is that I had this guy, and I know you could appreciate this because getting back to you,
Army Major right now is like, God damn it, we got through a political show, and he still wants to drag me. Oh, what did the shitwayer do, John?
My wife's panties are blue today, John.
Okay, yeah, no, Lady K is probably closeted. You're right. No, his wife is old. Yes.
Does Richard live in a museum?
Those are all his awards and shit from when he served.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now he's sitting with John.
Now he's sitting with John.
Poor Richard. So Richard almost escaped unscathed, and I think you're going to see Brian Karam as well, who might be the least funny man on the planet. He is terrible. But here's John trying to drag Richard Ojeda into his world.
I had a question for you just right before you go. Is that I had this guy, and I know you could appreciate this because getting
No,
back
you
to
can't.
you talking about, how that I'm a cool guy, right? There was this unknown comedian.
Hold on.
Funny,
I'm sorry. I don't know what we missed, but he's like, we were just talking about me being a really cool guy.
John's such a
I'm a
wet
real
brain.
cool guy.
What a
can't even
terrible
get
show that sounds like.
a
It
sentence.
does look like that he's been swinging his hair.
And
That's true. That's
the
pretty
Army
cool.
Major calls
Yeah, people have
himself
been commenting on
Ojeda.
his hair lately. Maybe
And
that was
John
the
says it's
discussion as to how
Ojeda.
cool John was.
The guy himself says it's Ojeda.
You know, Richard, how you think I'm really cool?
You know, he thinks he looks like friggin' Uncle Jesse right now.
Have mercy.
Brian, if you want to hear this, I didn't know that I don't want, but I'd love to hear your opinion if you guys want. But so I have this guy, and Brian, you've done, fucking stand up. This guy was a nobody.
years. Yeah.
So I saw him he had like a 3-second one joke on Last Comic Standing, but he didn't make it in.
Oh, he was scouting Last Comic Standing years before being a judge, apparently.
I go
That's
to
all
the
he
show.
talks about.
Now just hear.
How often do you want us to pause and guess?
Well, you know what? Go back a little bit. But yeah, so now we have the hint. John saw him on Last Comic Standing. He barely made it, but John just saw a 3-second clip on there. Any guesses?
One joke, 3 seconds. I would have to just guess Anthony Jeselnik, I suppose.
Okay, that's not a bad guess. He's related to Last Comic Standing. Craig, any guesses?
Rich Voss?
You guys are thinking, way too big.
Oh my god.
Ray DeVito.
Are we gonna know the name?
Yes, absolutely. But you're not in the same
maybe not.
hemisphere of success.
Oh.
Even with Rich Ross.
The chat is guessing, so I might be ruined now.
Okay, well, keep it to yourself, but let's continue.
Doug Benson?
Not Doug Benson.
I'll give a hint to see if they're right.
Okay.
Did he do a podcast with someone?
Well, he's about to talk about a podcast that he did, so that's another hint.
Okay.
Fucking stand-up. This guy was a nobody.
For years.
Yeah. So I saw him for, he had like a 3-second, one joke on Last Comic Standing, but he didn't make it in. I see it, right? And I'm going to get into it. And then I go to a show. Now just hear me out.
We're listening.
I put him on my tour when I was on the Howard Stern show.
Oh.
I get him to be
We
a
were
guest
friends with
on
Howard
Howard
Stern,
Stern, the biggest
where he played
fucking
a
show
tape.
in
and then
history.
introduced other
Then,
comedians
when I get the
and
Tonight
stole
Show,
the money from the
I
comedians.
fly him out on my own dime.
Bullshit.
Oh,
I
know.
pay for the flight. I put him up.
Oh,
I get him an audition from my agent, which he passes. I get him an audition for the comedy bookers at the Tonight Show. And I open for him at the Improv for his showcase.
Okay.
And he
Pause
gets
real
All
quick.
live.
So, David, I don't know if you've seen the chat. Can I trust you
Mike
to make
Ricchetti.
a guess here?
Ant?
Comedian Ant?
This is a tough game. There's so many contestants.
Yeah, I don't know if Ant was ever on the Howard Stern show.
I believe
No,
he
I don't
was.
know. Craig, I know you know, but just try and base it on the facts.
Austin
Who might you
Ingalls.
think it is?
Austin Ingalls.
Oh, it's not Austin Ingalls.
Oh, okay. Shout out. Shout out to the Iceman, Austin Ingalls.
Well, based on these facts, I would think maybe like Jim Florentine, Nick DiPaolo, someone like that. Someone that was on Stuttering John and Friends, then was on the Stern Show and the Tonight Show. It would have to be a name in that realm, but we persist.
The chat is positive it's this person, and this can't be right.
Shut up, chat. Dicks. I wanted to play a game here.
Maybe it's not. They just all convinced.
Okay. Well, maybe.
Rob Cantrell?
Not Rob Cantrell. No, you're in the right hemisphere though.
and he's on the wall at the Tonight Show. Now, cut to, he gets a show with Artie Lang.
Okay. Get the show with Artie Lang. Maybe I was right with Nick DiPaolo. Huh?
Okay.
Gets a show with Artie Lang.
Oh my god.
So maybe it's Nick DiPaolo. Maybe, you know what? Probably not someone as big as Nick DiPaolo. Maybe it's Joe Matt. That's why we're playing it, right? It's probably Joe Matarese.
Yes.
No. If we could actually dig lower.
Oh god.
Blank. Finally, when the Artie Lang show ends, and he hates Artie, then he comes up my show and goes, I go, why did you not text me back? I was embarrassed. Okay. I go, don't ever let it happen again. Now cut to now, Brian, and Army Major. Then this guy, you know, I asked him to come on my show.
Look at these two guys he's got. They don't want
Okay,
to
so
hear
he
this
booked a
crap.
date. Then he cancels
They're never
on
going
me
back on this
because he's
show.
doing this other show.
Nobody
Then
will do
so he
this
books
show.
for the next day.
Quote unquote show.
Then he makes up an excuse.
This is why I love him. I gotta keep him around. Nothing he says makes sense.
I mean, he's going at it with local city council members.
Instead, his computer is out. So then we make it on Friday. Then on Friday, he says he has an audition, and he doesn't want to blow it. So then I go, okay, when could you do it? He goes, next Thursday.
Nobody wants
So
to hear
then
this
I go, okay,
show.
and then
It's a big
Oh,
deal.
Jenna is so fucking mad right now.
John, I was out. I said goodbye.
Why am I still here?
I did my plugs. I very graciously bid you farewell. Now let me leave. I don't care. I don't give a fuck about this.
Well, quick question, Richard. Let me ask you something. Let me start 20 years ago here.
Yeah, exactly. Richard, quick question. My days on the Howard Stern show. Yeah, that great point, David. John has spanned well over a decade in this story now.
Oh, two, probably.
But much more like two, yeah.
Get to the
see him
point.
on the other show. So he didn't have time to do my show because he had this big audition, but he does another show. So all I'm sitting there, guys, can you imagine
Army Major, I need you to stay. You're the only person that no matter what has my back. Please.
For some reason, no matter how rude I am to you and your wife.
I want to tongue your wife's box, but can we ignore that for a second?
I'm putting that aside, Richard. I'm not even mentioning fucking your wife. That's how important this story is to me.
I'm not going to mention sniffing her panties once the rest of this program.
What was
I'm
that
beginning to believe that Stuttering John and Richard Ojeta's relationship is just based on some monkey paw situation Richard got himself in years ago.
It seems that way. I don't know what Richard possibly gets out of it, but he is fiercely loyal to John. So good for him for some reason.
Not for
John
long.
is about to reveal who the name is. So, don't let the chat spoil it. Maybe they're wrong. It sounds like it's a pretty big get. This guy gets auditions. He's on major radio shows and podcasts and television shows. So it's a name. I mean, it's a name, to say the least.
That I go out of my way, both from my bottom of my heart and
Yeah.
dip into my wallet and do all
Never
this
happened.
for this guy.
You know I
Never
don't do
pay.
that.
And this
Never
guy
pay for
sticks it to
anything.
me twice. And just like GW so eloquently said, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, we won't get fooled again. So,
First off, that guy, whoever this is, first and foremost,
Mike O'Shea.
he is your benefits him.
Yes.
Oh, it's a retarded gentleman, Richard.
So unbelievable.
David, are you familiar with Mike Bichetti?
Hardly.
He is
Mike Buschetti.
he is a man. He's I believe the term now, if we want to be
Mentally
accurate,
challenged.
he is neurodiverse.
Yes.
He is a man that, like, Artie Lang had him on his podcast out of charity. Like, Jim Norton and Sam Roberts have him on. He can be a funny guy on podcasts, but he's not well. It would be like, to use an Opie and Anthony reference, it would be like if, E-Rock or someone on the staff was in a real serious war with Bobo.
You're gonna say it just like Bobo.
And really, like, this motherfucker, after
Dana
everything
Carlin,
I've
Bobo.
done for him, this guy blew me off and went on Kevin Brennan's show. Let's finish out the clip here, because Richard thinks, like, oh, this is a peer in comedy. And the fact that John believes that
big
speaks
reveal
volumes.
It's got to be Chris Rock.
He's
It
better
has to be.
comedian than John.
Oh, you still don't think that the name? No, the name has been revealed. It's Mike Bichetti.
That can't be. He was just joking.
And we'll see. I'm telling you.
And the fact that you literally got him started, and now he's going
Richard just believes it.
Richard is just blind loyalty if it was a person. It's
For those of you that don't know Mike Bichetti, he lived with his mother. I don't know if his mother's still with us. He lived with his mother well into his 60s because he's not, a fully functioning adult. And now I've heard lives in like a government-assisted housing. Which hey, like, all credit to Mike Bichetti. He goes out and lives his life and does comedy. This is not bashing Mike Bichetti by any means. It's saying that John is above nobody.
not a single person.
John is living in
John,
a
the
bubble.
opportunity. I finally found.
Studio.
There are other people
Cat shit
named
on the
Michael.
floor.
It's difficult
Crap
actually to even find a
everywhere.
picture of this guy.
He
I found
talks
him.
about
I
everybody
recognize
else.
him. Of course, John. This is not somebody you should feel self-conscious about. This is a charity act, and you should move on with your life. You did a great thing for this man.
He's a better
You
comedian
would
than
think
John.
so, right? This is like in John's mind, he's a big star. So this is like if Howard, like behind the scenes even, not for a bit on air or anything, if Howard was like furious with Beetlejuice. You know what I mean? Where he's like, I gave this guy everything, and now he's making TikToks? How dare he, this guy that can't read? Sorry, is there more to this clip?
Yes. There's
Let's finish it out.
20 seconds left.
When that ends, he comes right back to you. Once again, he is a friend when it benefits him. But the truth is, that means he's not really a friend at all.
Yeah, and I just thought that you being in the military on midget because you know you guys are loyal to each other, and this guy has no loyalty
Yeah, that's what I'm
whatsoever.
saying. If they're fair weather friends, don't mean they're not
He's a
friends.
coward.
Shut up,
He's a
John.
coward. He's mentally unwell, John.
What is he afraid of?
That's a great point. Yeah, how is he a coward?
He's afraid of ghosts.
What? Yes, I think that's actually true.
I think he followed Stuttering John on stage. That's a little bit of a risk.
Yeah, what is Mike Bichetti like? How is he a coward? Is he afraid that John is going to? I don't know. What would he? In this context? What would coward even mean? Who's he afraid of?
He's afraid of being lumped in with Stuttering John, is what it is.
That really